For years I thought I was haunted by a ghost, but ghosts don't sweat, they don't reek of alcohol, and they don't smirk when caught. My name is Emma, I live in New York, just got accepted into Harvard, and next year I won't be able to come home for Thanksgiving. My parents decided that meant this year we should visit Grandma's house. I hadn't been there in 5 years, since I was 12, and even then, something about that house always felt wrong. The kind of wrong that sinks into your bones. I remember lying awake as a kid, convinced something watched me from the corner of the room. I remember screaming in the middle of the night because I felt something touch me, cold fingers, breath that wasn't mine, pressure where there shouldn't be. Back then, I thought it was a ghost. Now, older and trying hard to be rational, I told myself I had imagined it. But as I packed my bag and headed downstairs, a knot twisted in my stomach. When we pulled up to Grandma's familiar porch, the old dread returned immediately, heavy, suffocating, instinctual. I swallowed it down and forced myself to smile. Inside, my Uncle Mason greeted me first. He hugged me too tightly, too long. His hands lingered, his breath smelled sour. Something in me recoiled, but I laughed it off because that's what I'd always been taught to do. Be polite, don't make a scene, don't accuse adults of anything. The dining table was full. Dad and Mason joked loudly. Mom and Aunt Stella chatted about holiday shopping. And I sat there, stiff, painfully aware of Mason's eyes on me. Not warm, not familial, predatory. Every time I looked up, his gaze snapped away. No one else noticed. No one ever did. After dinner, Grandma showed us to our rooms. Mine was the same room I slept in as a kid. Same wallpaper, same creaky floorboard by the closet, same scent of mothballs and lemon cleaner, same feeling of being watched. I changed into pajamas and crawled under the covers, telling myself I was being dramatic. I was almost 18. I wasn't a scared little girl anymore. I must have drifted off, because the next thing I knew, something brushed my leg. At first I thought I was dreaming, until fingers wrapped around my thigh. I went rigid, completely frozen. My first instinct was the same as when I was a child: stay still, maybe it goes away. But then a hand slid up my chest, and everything inside me snapped. I kicked, hard, connecting with something soft. A grunt. I scrambled off the bed and ran toward the door, screaming. My dad and mom were already rushing down the hallway. I threw myself into my father's arms and choked out what happened. Dad stormed into my room and flicked on the light. Uncle Mason was bent over, clutching the spot I kicked him. His shirt was half undone, his face red, his hair disheveled from where he'd been leaning over me. And when he looked up at me, he smirked. A slow, vile curl of his lips, a confirmation of every nightmare I'd had in that room as a kid. Dad attacked him. Mom and Aunt Stella screamed. Grandma cried. It took both women to drag my father off him long enough for him to call the police. Mason was arrested that night, but the fallout was worse than the event itself. Grandma still sets a plate for him at Thanksgiving, insisting he's just away like he's on some business trip. Aunt Stella and my cousin Adrian look at me with pure venom, convinced I ruined their perfect husband and father. No one asks how long it went on. No one wonders how many Thanksgivings, how many Christmases, how many summer nights he crept into that room. No one wants those answers. For years, I thought I was haunted by a ghost, something shapeless, invisible, lurking in shadows. But it wasn't a ghost. It was Mason, a living, breathing monster who wore the face of family. And now I know the truth. The scariest hauntings don't come from the dead. They come from the living.